Good day, everyone. Jonathan Sarr, the Juvo Hub podcast. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for your support of this show. Please, if you're on a podcast station, we would love a review, feedback, any topics you'd love to see. Please reach out to me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Thank you for your support. I love doing this show, and in particular, this episode, this series that we're doing on mental health in relation to learning and development. So this is the third part of that series. Today we're talking about making learning frictionless. In other words, design for sanity. Sometimes we can get into a bit of a rut when it comes to developing our content for learning and development. We have templates, we have a process, we have like a method that we use for different job titles and so on. But this is an opportunity to just stop for a minute and think of it through that lens of mental health. What can I do to make training frictionless? Contribute to the sanity of the team. So let's think of a few different examples. Our traditional model, say for instance, we do a virtual training session over Zoom or Teams or something like that. And it's standard. It's like a 45-minute presentation. Let's say there's interaction and everything. Have you ever wondered how beneficial that is for your team? Have you used things like a feedback form to say, if this was shorter, would you like this broken up into smaller modules? Like, are we gathering feedback about our training to determine what are the needs? The team may be different today than it is even just a couple of years ago. So how are we engaging our learners to determine what it is that they need? So what we're focusing is cognitive user experience. And this matters because we live in a world where time is always precious. And for certain job titles within the property management world, you think of like our maintenance technicians or maintenance supervisors. They're kind of on the go all the time. They're not necessarily in an office environment very much. So what are we doing to make their learning in particular frictionless? Just as an example, can we take something that would take 20 minutes to read? Is there a way to turn it into an audio format? Turn it into a podcast, internal podcast of some sort. Everyone's got their headphones on. So while that individual is out doing some of their maintenance tasks, their work, is there an opportunity for them to listen to something? Again, depends on the content. Not everything would fit that particular model. But we're just talking about giving some consideration to how we can make some adjustments. Moving away from like the standard online learning model. I have a learning management system, and so therefore I'm going to make an asynchronous course out of everything. Or this is always going to be an in-person training, whether it's a virtual or actual in-person, in a conference room or something. We are trying to make learning frictionless. When we make learning frictionless, it contributes to our students' mental health. We're trying to reduce screen fatigue. We're trying to make things simpler, make it easier to access. Is it mobile friendly? Can they do it on their phone? Lots of things to consider. This episode is particular for you as a learning and development team, or if you're a one-person team, to give some consideration to where you can make some adjustments. And this isn't saying now is the time to go in and redo everything. Start small. Take a look at something that you really haven't perhaps like wipe the dust off, so to speak, when it comes to its process in some time, where can you make adjustments to it? If it's an hour-long session, how can you take portions of it and change things up a bit? Where some of it may be one-on-one virtual led, but some parts of it can be taken asynchronously, a 10-minute item or something along that line. I think you get the point. With our theme, mental health and learning and development, the idea here, the concept, the discipline that we are discussing is for learning and development teams, for us to take a look at what we're doing. Don't get stuck in the rut of the old ways. What does your team need today? Where can you make adjustments? Contribute to their mental health. So episode 3 or part 3 of this series on mental health, be sure to check out part 1 and part 2 of this series. And if you have feedback on what you're doing, look forward to hearing from you. Please share that with me on LinkedIn or any other social media tool you feel free to contact me on. Jonathan Sarr, the Juvo Hub podcast. Take care, everyone.